All right, welcome back to my channel, Gen Z Finance. Today's video is my August 14th bi-weekly budget, but I actually have a lot of things that I need to go over and do in this video, so we're going to jump right into it. The first thing I'm going to do is actually down here. I'm going to cover this overspending. If you saw my last budget video, the July wrap-up and August review video, you know I mentioned I was probably going to be buying a new iPhone soon. Well, actually, like later that day or the next day, I went ahead and bought the new iPhone, and it was $812.67. And then I bought a new phone case and screen protector. So that was another $52.03. Originally, I had this as a Wish Farm item, and I had $767 budgeted for that. And when I went ahead and went to purchase, I put it under electronics. So in total, I spent $864.70, which was about $97 over budget. But just two things to know with this: I am trading in an iPhone 8 Plus and an iPhone 7. And I should be getting at least some partial credit back to my credit card. It should be around $50 going back into getting reimbursed to my credit card. And then I am getting a $185 gift card from Apple, or from Apple and to Apple for the iPhone 8. So I'll be using that gift card towards my computer replacement. And because I am getting that money back, I'm going to go ahead and cover this overspending with the computer replacement category so that my overspending is done. I don't have to worry about that, and I can just pay off the card when it comes due. Next thing that I wanted to talk to y'all about is I did create this category, M1 Finance, where I put $88, and that was the paycheck that I got from my part-time job. I got paid last week, and I just put that full $88 in here. So I'm going to go ahead and add this account. It's going to be unlinked. It's going to be an asset. We're going to call it M1 Finance, and it was at $0, so I'll do that. So there we go. And then I'm going to go into my checking account, and I actually think it came out on Tuesday. I will say it's a transfer to M1 Finance. The category is from my M1 Finance thing. And the memo is going to be first contribution. Oh, 88 from, and 12 from 814 HK paycheck. I'm just kind of giving myself a note to figure out where did this money come from. So it's going to be an outflow for my checking of $100 because M1 Finance, if you don't know, is a investing kind of app, and the first transfer into the account is a minimum of $800. So if we go back to my budget after I put that in, it's showing that I'm over budget by $12. So we're going to fix that when I budget my paycheck. But I don't expect to be doing too much activity into this account. I kind of just want to see how this works. I just went ahead and put $100 into like one of their index funds that they have. I think it was technically a Vanguard index fund. And I just kind of want to see how it works. I figured, I can send $100 there and just kind of play around with it. And the thing that I'm interested about with M1 Finance is they do allow partial shares. So I want to see what the software is like and what the design is like, and if I like that, and maybe I want to put a little bit more, maybe I want to put a little bit every month into this. I'm not really sure yet. So I'm just kind of playing with that. It's $100. I'll probably never really touch it again, but we have that category there for now. Next thing I'm going to do is come into my credit card, and I'm going to go ahead and schedule a payment. I guess it can be for today. The payee will be, it's going to be a record payment for today. And I'm going to say paying off half of the iPhone. And the reason I'm doing this is just to limit my how much is on my credit card. So my credit utilization ratio, I want to kind of lower that because I only have about $3,000 available on this credit card, and I was at 1,000, and my statement comes out on the 15th. So I'm going to go ahead and make that payment today, or my statement closes on the 15th. So I'm going to go ahead and make that payment today. It will pay off half of the iPhone, and then I'll pay off the rest of it next month when my statement is due. So I hope that made sense to everyone. Next thing we're going to do, I told you we have a lot of changes that I need to make to my budget before we can even start budgeting my paycheck. Is again, in my previous video, I mentioned a couple of new savings goals that I was working towards. So definitely check that video out if you haven't already, or if you have more questions about, oh, like why are these your new savings goals? So whenever I have a new goal, so either something I want to purchase or just a regular old savings goal, I add it to this wish list thing. And you can see I have a couple of these added right now. I think I do want to try to go to the 2028 LA Olympics, just because I've never been to an Olympics, and it's in the United States, so it's easier to get to than the Olympics held in other countries, at least for me as a US citizen. So that's something that eventually I want to put towards. See, eventually I want to put money towards a moving out fund, and then a dog, cat, pet fund, but those aren't really the goals I'm working towards. So after I finished paying off my debt last month, I moved some of the goals that were in this wish list category up to this wish farm, and that was the travel fund and the new car. So those are things that I'm going to be working on, but I don't want to keep them in the wish farm because they're not really very specific wishes, like for instance an iPhone 11 or a new computer, or like purchasing a VPN. They're going to be things that I'm going to be saving for a very long time. So I'm going to go ahead and move this, edit that, and move the travel fund up to my sinking funds category, probably before taxes. And then I'm going to take the new car fund and move that up to savings, because that's going to be something I want to see. So now that those are in their new categories, I'm going to go ahead and enter my paycheck and start budgeting. So like I explained last video as well, my paycheck has changed a little bit because I increased my Roth contribution, my 401k contribution. I put another $92, I think, a paycheck towards my Roth 401k. So that explains that. Oh, it's actually already in here. I'm going to change this to the 13th because it showed up as pending my account. And my paycheck was actually $1355.96. So I'm going to change that date, correct that, approve it, and start getting budgeted. So as always, I'm going to move forward in YNAB because August is already completely budgeted for. September is already completely budgeted for. So I'm going to start budgeting into October. I will put $200 towards this responsibilities to mom category. So that works out to $150 to car insurance, and then doing the first $50 for rent. Then I will be putting $50 in to this sinking fund. It's for my dad because he is retired, and I want to make sure I have money set aside for him all the time. For some reason I put that, I don't know, to me it makes sense. Okay, I put money aside to pay my mom, so now let me go put money aside to help my dad. I don't know why, even though those two categories are so far away. So let's see. Going back up, subscriptions are going to be covered with my next paycheck. Into monthly varied, we're going to be putting $40 into gas, $25 into dining out. Other will be covered with my next paycheck. We'll be putting $20 into fun. so that giving and other, so about $70 will be covered with my next paycheck. And then the last of the gas category as well will be covered. And this dining out category is getting really big because I'm not going out to eat a lot. So probably at the end of August, I'll look at, like right now in August, I have $91 available. And if I don't spend any money on dining out in August, which I don't expect I will, then I'll probably be moving everything over probably $50 or $60 to another category. But I do like to continue to fund in the future months. And if I just, when I get to that month, if I still have a lot of money left over, I'll just move that money out. But as long as I continue to fund those months in the future, if anything does happen, I know I at least have money set aside, $25 set aside to eat out that month. I hope that made sense. Next, I'm going to finish up my sinking funds for October. I'll be putting $50 into gifts, and that will be finished next paycheck. For my sister's wedding fund, it will be $55 for that. And then $50 for car ownership and maintenance. So, like I said, the last $50 for the gifts, the $20 for my birthday, $10 for personal care, and $50 for clothing will be covered with my next paycheck as well. So, that means I'm going to jump back to August. We have $853.96 left to budget. And I'm going to start going down into my savings categories and budgeting for that. So first thing I'm going to do is come down to my IRA and put in $225 for that so that I have the full $500 I need when I have my scheduled transaction for that on the 28th. So that's $225 there. I need to put $50 into the 2020 medical deductible category and another $200 into the 2021 medical deductible category. So we're getting close to that $3,000 mark. That's exciting. I'm going to put the first $200 into my new car category. So I'm really excited to start saving for that. And I'm actually going to leave a note here. Started funding this with the 8/14/2020 paycheck. That way in the future, if I ever look back and wanting to know, okay, I have X amount of money in here, how long have I been funding this? I can look at the notes and find out. And then I also want to put in $50 to my emergency fund so that I can put at least $100 a month into that. So I was going to start contributing to my travel fund this month. I was going to do $150 a month, so that would be $75 with the first paycheck and $75 with the next paycheck. But because I did a little bit of overspending with my electronics and I'm not getting as much as I wanted for my trade-ins, I'm not getting as much in trade-in value with my phones as I expected, I'm going to put the $75 that I was going to put towards my travel fund back into my computer replacement fund. So we're just refunding this category a little bit to get it back closer to the $1,600 that was in there. So let me actually change this. My goal is not $1,800, it's $1,600. So I put $75 in there, and after accounting for the $97 I took out of that category to completely fund my iPhone purchase, it's a net decrease of $22.24 in that category, which is not bad. And then keeping in mind, I still have the $185 gift card that I can use for this purchase, which means I really have about $1,700 in that category, so a little bit more than $1,700, so that's good. All right, so I have $65.96 left. With this, I'm going to finally cover this $12. And when I added that in, it took away that I was over budget up here, or I was over budgeted in future months. So that's good. And then I'm going to come up to this 1Password category. So I mentioned this again in my last video. I've been using 1Password. I've started using it a lot since the beginning of August, and I do like it, so I really want to purchase something like this, but I don't know if I actually want to pay $36 a year for it. So I'm gonna budget. So it should cost $35.88, but after taxes, I'm not really sure what that's gonna look. So I'm gonna put $24 into this category, so I have $38.13 to cover it. And in the last week or so I have before I get charged for this, I'm going to look at LastPass, because LastPass I believe does the same thing, but it does it for free. So I'm going to try LastPass out on my phone and see, is 1Password worth the money versus LastPass. And hopefully if I find that I like LastPass and I don't have to pay for that, I'm definitely going to use that, and then I can just move this $38 out and delete this category, because I really don't like to have too much money. I don't like to have a lot of subscriptions. I try to keep in mind how many subscriptions I have, which is why I break them out and have their own separate categories, and each one has a line item, because I really want to keep an eye on how much I'm putting towards subscriptions a month and a year, because those can very quickly add up. And then with the $29.96 that I have left, I'm going to put 20 of it into the fund for my dad, put it into this month. The reason I'm doing that is he, like I've mentioned a couple times, he's retired. He actually needs to move out of the apartment that he has been renting for 11 years, and it's going to be a little bit tight. So I'm going to put a little bit more money into this category this month in case I end up needing to help him in the next couple of weeks. And if I did need to help him, I would definitely go into, future months, and just because in total I have $320 available, I definitely go into future months and just unbudget that money in future months for, August or September whenever I need it. But if I don't end up needing it, I do want to keep funding ahead in future months. So I'm just putting $20 in there for now, just in case. And then I have $9.96 left, and that's all going to go into this holding category. Just like that. I'm going to take one last perusal over my budget and make sure everything looks good. I think it does. One thing I wanted to mention, going to my subscriptions, is you'll see this YNAB category, and it says June 2022. And that means that I don't need to pay for YNAB again until June of 2022. That's very hard for me to say. So I actually responded to a survey that YNAB was doing, where they were asking, to put in your real life experiences and all of that. And after I responded to that survey, they said, oh, thank you so much for, answering these questions. Really helpful. We're going to go ahead and give you a year of YNAB for free. And then they also sent me the YNAB book, the book You Need a Budget by Jesse Meekum, and a t-shirt. So I don't need to pay for YNAB again until June of 2022. So in future months, you'll see this next paycheck too when I budget for my subscriptions in October, but YNAB is only going to be $3 a month. It's only going to cost me $3 a month to fund, to have the $84 I need by June 2022. So that's really great, really exciting. I highly recommend that you guys, if you're interested in YNAB or you are a YNAB user, if you haven't already, check out the You Need a Budget (YNAB) and fans Facebook page on YouTube, or not on YouTube, on Facebook. I'll try to leave a link down below, but They're great. They have a lot of good posts, a lot of people asking questions or sharing their encouragement and their YNAB wins. And that's how I found out about this opportunity, because YNAB will sometimes post in there asking for, our personal experiences to use as marketing. And if you answer their questions and they like what you've said and they're like, oh, great, we think we could turn that into a story, they will usually compensate you in some way, a free year of YNAB, sending you a book and some merchandise. So if you haven't already, I highly recommend you check them out. The other thing that I wanted to mention, hopefully I'm going to go through this quickly because I'm sure this video is already pretty long. So I wanted to give some shout outs and some recommendations for you guys to watch other budgeting YNAB budgeters here on YouTube. So I'm, at the time of this video recording I'm at about 90 subscribers, which is amazing. I hope to be at 100 pretty soon, maybe hopefully by the end of the month. And to kind of celebrate that and really say thank you guys to everyone who subscribed, I'm going to give you guys some recommendations and shout out other YouTubers, specifically YNAB budgeters, who if you don't already know about and follow, you definitely should, especially if you're interested in YNAB and you want to see how real people with real numbers use their real YNAB. So the first person I'm going to shout out, they're the YNAB tutorials explanation king, Nick True, Mapped Out Money. He does a lot of just simple how-to YNABs that are great. They are the way that you learn YNAB, the way I learned YNAB. So that's why I don't have too many how to use basic YNAB videos. I have a couple. I've had, how to use it for gifts and YNAB tips and trick, but not like a serious sit down, here's how you set it all up, because really I don't think you can do it much better than Nick True. The next person I want to shout out is my first YNAB YouTuber that I ever watched. I call her the OG, although I don't know if she's the original one of this, but she's the first one that I watched in the videos that I still rewatch all the time. Her name is Connie Porter. She doesn't really do too many more new YNAB budget with me's, but she has a playlist, I think of about 45 or 50 budgeting videos where she goes through her real numbers, her budget on YouTube using YNAB. And like I said, she's the first person I watched, and that made me kind of want to create some of these videos because she doesn't do it as much anymore. But like I said, you got to go back and watch all of her videos. They're great. Other personal budgeters include Freedom Over Debt. So they're a military family and they get paid once a month. So at the beginning of every month, they review the previous month's budget and then also do their next month's budget. They're great. Real Life with Heather, she's a single woman and she does a lot of her personal she doesn't get paid bi-weekly, she gets paid like twice a month, but she'll do some like YNAB tutorial videos as well. I love her videos. 6 Figures Under, so that's a woman, and she's been actually doing YNAB and YouTube for a long time, and she has a lot of videos, way more than just YNAB videos. She has a lot of just, budgeting and how to save money on grocery shopping and all of that. Lots of good content, and I think she's a mother of like 6 or 7. They're a big family, and they have a little bit larger income because her husband, I believe, is a lawyer. So those budgeting videos are always really interesting. The Zelensky Life, they're a couple in Canada, and I love their videos because they're a couple and new parents to a little baby. I love their videos because they they go through a lot of ups and downs, and I don't mean that in a bad way. They just show you like their full financial life, and they were impacted by the COVID shutdowns and everything like that, but it's so incredible to see them like use YNAB through those ups and downs, and they're still paying off all this debt and becoming new parents and taking care of their baby. I love their videos. Minimal Miss, she also does YNAB and budget videos. She's a single lady. I believe she's single at least, and she's a homeowner, I believe, out on the West Coast. Her videos are really great. She has a bigger income, so it's really interesting to see how she budgets her money and uses her money as a homeowner. Barlow Street, she's a incredible newcomer, I guess, to the YNAB YouTuber scene. She's an attorney. She has a bigger income, and she does a lot of really incredible things with that money. So I love watching her budget and listening to her explain why she does certain things. Lee and Stacy do finance. So they're a couple, although I think Stacy is really the one who does all the videos. They're a couple who are using YNAB. Again, it's just great to see people with different incomes, backgrounds, and expenses use the software and really show you what you can do with it and how everyone can use YNAB. So they also do just explanation videos. I know there was a video that I really liked of Lee and Stacy do finance where they explain why they don't use cash envelopes, which every single point they made, I was like, yep, I agree. That's why I don't use cash envelopes. So if you ever wonder why I don't like cash, you can go ahead and watch that video. And then Caffeinated Plans has started to use YNAB as well to budget her paychecks and go over her personal finances. So those are about 8 or 9 YouTubers that I recommend. I want to do more shout outs in the future. I'm sure I didn't cover all of the YNABers here on YouTube. If I missed a personal favorite of yours or your YouTuber who uses YNAB, please drop a comment down below, let me know. And then in the future, I do want to highlight some other non-YNAB budgeters who might use EveryDollar, Excel, or budget planners like paper and pen to do their budgets that I really also like to watch. So I think that's everything from me. We covered a lot. As always, I feel like I need to do something else with these videos because sometimes they get too long. But thank you guys all so much for watching, and everyone that I recommended that you guys watch, I'll definitely link them down below in this video as well. Hope you guys are staying safe and healthy as always, and have a good day.